Good morning, good afternoon, and or good evening, whatever time you're watching this. If you are watching this, thank you. Hello, I'm Dave, and today I find myself in Ormskirk. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just feel like I need to explain why the footage you're about to watch looks like it was filmed over 2 days. So the footage you're about to watch was filmed over 2 days. It's been an absolute nightmare trying to make this video. So I've put together the best of the footage from yesterday and today. Hopefully that'll make a usable video. Enjoy. I'm sorry. Next time it'll be better. Some days it flows, some days it doesn't. Just how it is. Enjoy anyway. Now, where and what is Ormskirk? Ormskirk is a market town in West Lancashire in northwest England. It's roughly 13 miles north of Liverpool, 18 miles south of Preston, and something like 14 miles southeast to Southport. I can never remember compass points. I have to do never eat shredded wheat every time. We're starting our walk today at the church. There we go. But if you're unfamiliar with the layout of these videos, I'll tell you in a minute. I just want to explain about the church first. While I'm here, then we'll get walking into Ormskirk and we'll have a look around. So this is the church of St. Peter and St. Paul. Now, it's quite unique. It's an interesting church actually. I like churches. I'm not particularly religious, but I do like churches. So I'm going to just point the camera there at that just for a minute and see if you can work out what makes it unique. You got it yet? Did you get it? Very good if you did. If you didn't, then I'll tell you. This church has a tower and a steeple, so it's got the both. That's unique. There's only 3 churches in England that have that, including this one. The other 2, St Mary's and St Andrew's in Wiltshire, down Wiltshire way. I apologise for the wind, I can't help the weather. But this one is unique on its own, because this one has the tower and the steeple at the same end. So the story goes with this particular church is when a Viking named Orm, which means serpent or dragon, when he settled in the area, he converted to Christianity, and he either built or contributed to a new church on what was believed to be a pre-existing Anglo-Saxon religious site, and the place became known as Ormskirk, which means Orm's church, because Kirkje is Norwegian, I think it is. It's one of the Scandinavian languages for church. So the place became known as Ormskirk, and the Scottish still call their churches kirks even today. So I thought that was interesting. Now we know why it's named Ormskirk, Ormskirk. So why the bell tower and the steeple? Well, the legend goes that old Orm, he had 2 sisters. One wanted the tower, one wanted the steeple, and because he loved them both so much and wanted to please them both, the story goes he built both. The actual story is that the tower was built to house the bells from Bearscope Priory following Henry VIII and his dissolution of the monasteries. Why they wanted to save those particular bells, I don't know, but apparently there's one still in there, and that was in the 1500s, so that's an old bell. And just as we're leaving the church, moving on now, the last little thing, little bit of information I've got for you is that this place has got a big connection to the Earls of Derby and the Stanley family. So the first Earl of Derby, Thomas Stanley, who firstly fought for King Richard III at the Battle of Bosworth Field, and then jumped ship to the Tudors. He's supposed to be interred in there somewhere. A horse, my kingdom for a horse, if you know your Shakespeare. And the royalist James Stanley, I think he was the 7th Earl of Derby, he's buried in there. He had his head chopped off after the English Civil War in 1651 when the parliamentarians won under Cromwell, and he's meant to be in two caskets. His body's in one and his head is supposed to be in the other. I don't know if we can go in. We won't go in today. We've got quite a bit to get through because Ormskirk's actually quite an interesting place, and I've just nearly broke my neck. So let's watch where we're going in future. Let that be a lesson. Watch where you're going. Now, the centre of Ormskirk is actually pedestrianised. No cars. I like that. So if you're not familiar with the channel, or you don't know what I do in these videos, I go to a place, I have a wander around, I give you some history, show you some interesting things, get really funny looks off people, and I tell you what I know, or at least what I think I know. And if you know different, or you've got other information, then as I always say, please correct me in the comments. I encourage that, but cite your source so I can go and look at it. I try to make these videos as factual, as interesting as possible, and information from someone's nan's neighbour 20 years ago, while might possibly true, you know, I need to be able to research it myself and look it up. So this clock tower, which was built in 1876, is on the site of a former medieval market cross, because there's been a market in Ormskirk for over 700 years, and it began when there was a royal charter granted by King Edward I to the monks at Bearscope Priory, and this clock tower sits at what was a junction between the main roads from Liverpool, Wigan and Preston, and the market radiates out from the clock tower. And I think we should flick to cap cam. I know it's a bit cheesy, don't judge, and we'll show you some of the market. All right, cap cam is live. Let's have a look at Ormskirk market. Cheers, mate. Yeah. I don't know how true this is, but I've heard about old Bowler. He used to sleep in there and he was followed around by a goose. That's the story anyway. I don't know how true that is, but yeah, old Bowler and his goose, till the police moved him on and took his goose away. So around town you'll see these gingerbread figures. What's all that about? Look, there's another one, and there's one greets you at the station as well. What are they about? Do you honestly think I wouldn't find out and let you all know? Ormskirk is famous for gingerbread. It's true. I didn't know either. It's true. Women used to bake it in their homes and take it to the coach and inns to sell to travellers coming through. Because as I said, this was a crossroads, a big junction, an important part of the area. So coach and inns sprang up. And with the market, farmers, labourers, cottagers, a sector of people called cow keepers, farmers to me, but they would all congregate to sell their wares at the market, and an industry grew up of making and fixing farming tools and farming equipment. So there's a lot of engineering history in Ormskirk as well, and these things represent the gingerbread. When the railways arrived in the mid-1800s, the women were given permission to go and sell their wares to the passengers coming through on the trains. And a particularly famous passenger, well, particularly high-ranking passenger as well, actually, the King of England at the time, he was Prince Edward of Wales, Prince Edward, Prince of Wales, who later became King Edward VII, and he was given some gingerbread on a visit, and he liked it so much that he continued to order it for years and years. Even supposedly on his way to Balmoral, he would stop the royal train at Ormskirk to make sure he got some gingerbread. So there you go, Ormskirk's famous for gingerbread. And just in case you thought I was pulling your leg, I really wasn't. Pause that and read it for yourself if you want. And there's some info on the gingerbread ladies, as they were known. So, see, I wasn't lying. Famous for gingerbread. It's another gingerbready looking dude there. So if politics is your thing, that's Benjamin Disraeli, former British Prime Minister. He never visited Ormskirk, he never even represented Ormskirk. The statue was originally built to be put in Bolton. Either Bolton didn't want it, didn't like it, whatever. And the Ormskirk Conservatives had it put here. They raised money to put it there. Yeah, that's all I've got to say on that really. This is the Styles, and it's actually a contender for the oldest building in town, this, because Ormskirk has 68 listed buildings. Now I didn't know that. 68 though. That's a lot, considering it's such a small town. That is a lot of listed buildings. And well, I'm assuming this is going to be one of them. It was built originally apparently as either a theatre or a secret chapel for when the Catholics were being persecuted. They could come and worship in secret. Since then, it's been a basket weaver's workshop, and now it's a bar. I've not been in, I don't know what it's like. Apparently it's nice. But yeah, contender for the oldest building in Ormskirk. I'll be honest, I think the church wins that one, don't you? And this is a much better use for a phone box than a tramp's toilet. This is the Time TARDIS, and they've got little scenes from the history of the area in there. Some from the Vikings, there's some from... So there's the gingerbread. More up there. I'm not sure how well you can see that or even hear me, to be honest. Yeah, some World War I scene. So yeah, that's a good use for a phone box, that, because most of them just, well, it's where people relieve themselves now, aren't they? Okay, moving on. It's a thin building, isn't it? Not much room in there. Wowzers. Okay, that is ridiculously thin. You don't see many of them. Wow. And there's the other end of it. People do run businesses out of them. There's a restaurant in there as well. That's a mural, isn't it? As far as murals go, that's a good one, that. Seen one like that before. Oh, this wind's getting up. I do wish people had stopped spitting the contents of their throats out onto the floor. Disgusting. I've just done a nice piece about this inn, but then someone walked past swearing away, so obviously I don't want that on my video. This is the Buck in the Vine. Apparently this inn has been here since the late 1600s. It was done up in the last 10 years or so, maybe a bit longer, to look more like it would have back then. And there you go. I'm not going to pronounce it like that, but it looks nice. I've not been in. But yeah, Buck in the Vine. I heard somewhere that the Buck in the Vine was possibly from one of Aesop's fables, about a hunter. He saw the deer hid behind the vine to get away, then started eating the leaves on the vine, and the hunter heard him There's a moral in there somewhere about ingratitude or something. I don't know. I'm not up on his shop. There's lots of these little cut-offs and alleyways. Mystic Muse, that one's called. And then Ormskirk's got more of these little walkways coming down, all covered over. Very nice. It tickles me how suspicious people get when they see the camera. Oh, it's a man with a camera, what's he doing? He must be up to no good. So that was Ormskirk. Not a particularly long video, but then again, it's not a particularly big place. And it's been a little while since I've done any filming, so I thought I'd wait for the bin wagon. I thought I'd just come out somewhere quite close, somewhere small, and just do a little quick one just to get back into it. We're going to go and have a look at the station and then we're off. So before we leave, I just wanted to show you Ormskirk station, opened in 1849, and this was a stop on the route from Preston to Liverpool. You can't make that journey in one anymore now. You do have to get off, as there's bollards. I'll tell you why in a minute. But just before this train pulls up, this station always used to run services from Skem and Southport, and you can just see the old platform there. Just behind this train there is the remnants of the old platform, but you can't get straight through. You have to, if you're going to Preston, you've got to get off and wait on this platform instead. So Preston is that way, and Liverpool would be that way. Why are these here? Why can't you go straight through? Well, in 1913 they electrified that part of the line going to Liverpool, but not this part. So that's why. So if you're going to Preston, you've got to go and wait up there. Right, thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this, and we'll see you on the next one. Told you I had a nightmare filming this video. I forgot to mention that there's no mention of Ormskirk in the Doomsday Book because it was part of Latham. I might actually do a video on the Doomsday Book so I can link it, because I've got a feeling I'm going to be mentioning it quite a bit. If you don't know what the Doomsday Book is, I did explain it mostly in Southport, so I'll link that video somewhere. Go and have a watch. And that's it. Thanks very much for watching. I do appreciate it. And I say, if you want to correct me, do so, but leave somewhere that I can go and look. Leave a source. And that's it. Thanks very much. See you next time.